and welcome back to my channel. My name is Johanna, and for those of you who are new here, welcome. And for those of you who are returning, welcome back. Here on my channel, I do planner and planner related videos, DIY tutorials, budget videos, and the occasional new release video of items that I've listed to my Etsy shop. And if that is of interest to you, please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you hit that little notification bell, you'll always be notified of when I do load a new video. Also, by sharing, commenting, and liking this video, you do help my channel grow, and that is truly appreciated. Alright guys, so this is it. This is the very last installment of my collaboration with Shary of Plan with Black Dog Designs here on YouTube, where we're doing Fresh Start New Planner, where every Monday in the month of September we did a new video regarding a layout in the Happy Planner. So that first week that we did together, we set up the monthly overview and we did the dashboard, and on her channel she used one of her dashboard actual planners and decorated. Week 2 we set up the DIY vertical in my planner, and in her channel she worked and showed you tips and thoughts on her vertical actual planner, because we were doing it in tandem where she would use her actual planner and I would do a DIY version since I don't actually have any planners. Week 3 we did the horizontal together, and again she did hers in one of her planners. And then week 4 was a little bit of an offshoot, or a little bit different, because I set up both the monthly to-do as well as the academic, and she also set up the academic because she didn't have either one of these, and I think her spread turned out fantastic. So this last week what we're going to be doing is the Happy Nietzsche bullet journal Bujo style in your Happy Planner. Now I'll show you my Happy Nietzsche, and a Happy Nietzsche is basically what Happy Planner is now calling the Skinny Classic, where it is the half sheet. Now these half sheet notebooks came out I think earlier this year, maybe even later last year, and it was Magical Plans here on YouTube who actually converted it into a DIY planner. So starting in June of this year, that's what I've done. So I actually have a planner section, and because I'm doing every layout myself, I do consider this a bullet journal, but I also consider it a bullet journal because I don't have standard layouts. When you buy a Happy Planner, every week for that planner is going to be exactly the same. In this, I get to do what I want. So if every week I want it to be exactly the same, which it was for the week of, or the month of September, cool. But if I wanted to change it up, I absolutely could do that as well. I'm not tied into a layout system, and I think that's one of the most functional things for me with a Happy bullet journal, Happy Bujo, Happy Nietzsche, whatever you want to call it. Now if you are in the classic, and this is the one we've been using, and so this is the one we'll talk about for right now. I will bring back my Happy Nietzsche in a little bit. The thing with the Happy Bullet Journal, it isn't just about making your own spreads. It is a little bit of a different thinking on how you look at planning versus how you look at like a Happy Planner or an Erin Condren, where everything is already mapped out for you and you're just filling in things. So while I'm flipping through this, we'll talk about that. And I actually set this up, and this is all a mock thing just so that I could show you and not take a million years. And so because you are setting up a bullet journal, you basically have to do everything from scratch, and that can seem super intimidating, or it can seem very freeing, or maybe even a combination of the two. Now everything that you're going to be seeing here, all I used was the paper and a variety of different pens. And that's it. There's no stickers. There can be, but there were none, because I did want to show you that if you were working on a budget, and you got a happy planner in whatever size at a really good price, you could make a very decorative, very functional planner system that might work better for your needs than maybe the Happy Planner has been. Now, there's nothing against Happy Planner, but my biggest issue when I was looking at even getting it last year was I don't have a lot of things going on. I don't know that I liked a particular layout over another. Here in Hawaii, we have very limited inventory of what we can even choose from. So that was really my biggest discouragement with Happy Planner. Finding this system, I don't like the whole planner piece thing, but I do find that a Happy Bullet Journal ticks all of the boxes that I need, and so that it just really works for me. So this is just really to give you guys just another way to think about either the current planner that you have, or if you're looking at getting something new, maybe this is a style that might work for you. So that the way that I would start it was by doing a cover page, and then you can do a word of the year, an inspirational quote, a thought, or whatever. But basically, every time you were to open your happy notes, in my case, you'd want something that inspires you. Now, because I'm actually just continuing on the back of this layout, you'd actually probably want to do this page here, so that this is the very first thing that you would look out. But again, it's your planner. There are no rules but whatever the ones you set, okay? And these here are actually really easy to do. It's just a line with some bubbles with some lines going through it. And I think when you stagger them on the page like that, it looks really dynamic. And if you wanted to carry this out through your entire year and then just color the leaves in different colors for the different seasons, I think that'd work really well. Now, what the next page is in a bullet journal is, and actually bearing the lead here, but the bullet journal is a system, a planner system that was started by Ryder Carroll, who the traditional planner systems where everything was structured and mapped out just did not work with what he needed or the way that his brain worked. And so what he did was, it's basically a notebook and a pen and just a variety of lists and tasks and things. And so one of the key things that you'd see after your cover page or your word of the year is people would traditionally do an index or a table of contents, and then they would do their key, so that you know every day, every week, every month that this is how you're going to complete your tasks, or at least check them off in your bullet journal. And then the index and table of contents, when I did try a bullet journal in an actual book-bound system, I didn't find that very useful at all. But what they use that for is, because it's in a book-bound system, it isn't in something that you can take on and off. The bigger that your months got, the more you may want to refer to things. And so you would put a page number, and then you would put, October weekly spreads from this page to this page, so it's easily able to find it. With the Happy Bullet Journal system, Happy Nietzsche, whatever you want to call it, I don't find that necessary, and I'll show you why when I get to my Happy Nietzsche. And then for the key, I don't feel tying that to an actual spread is necessary, because this is something that eventually I would remember, but if I needed to, I could just move it from page to page, versus the bullet journal, again, which is on a book-bound system, and so you can't move anything, and that's why they really need to be able to reference the different pages. Now, after the word of the year, the cover page, however you initially set that up, then what you normally have would be at a year at a glance. Happy Planner does that too. They actually typically do the 2 years at a glance, which is fine. I wasn't going to write all of that out, but this gives you an idea of what that looked like. And then you could also do a future log or a log of important dates, because that year of a glance really just gives you, all right, so what day does this fall, or what day does this fall? But if you have have important appointments or dates or anything that you need to remember that obviously you couldn't do on your year at a glance, then mapping out a future log or an important dates log or a birthday log or whatever is a really functional way to be able to have these things together. And let me put this in before it gets lost. Actually, no, and I'll show you how this is used. And then you would go into your monthly overview. Now, this one is actually set up a little bit differently than the one we did here because this takes the entire full 2 pages. This here just is what you would typically see in a bullet journal where it is a monthly overview and then you have some extra things on the side. Now, if you do have those journaling sticker books that Happy Planner put out, I think late last year, then you could use that in here. But I don't have it and I don't have access to it. We don't have those stores. And so I made a mistake and then I'll just use that mistake. It is really easy to just add some decorative aspects in here with just a pen. And so that's my little notes page. And I didn't mean to go crooked like that because I actually meant to look it like that, but that didn't happen, so whatever. Now you can do a month overview like this. This is something that you use. You could also do the entire month and just put one of these here and then just have a really long space if you have lots of different tasks to do. At the bottom you could put washi, you could leave it blank, you can put quotes, you can put important dates down here, add this as more notes page. Because you are literally making this yourself, you can see, all right, what is it that I actually need for the month, and let me go ahead and fill that in. And then what would typically follow, and I'll take these off, is you'd have your weekly spread. And again, just to show you how easy this can be, we can do some page flags at the top, and that would be Monday. And they don't need to all line up. So if I know that I'm gonna have lots to do, then I might leave a lot of room, and then if I know the rest of my week is not going to be that bad, then I can adjust it. Because I've also had this where in the big Happy Planner that I originally started with, some days I was just filling things in just because I thought I needed to, when it really isn't the case. And then you've got your layout here. That doesn't mean that in the middle of the page, if you wanted to do a notes section, that you couldn't do that, right? Because I mean, you can do whatever it is that you want in this. But I also want to show you that even though you are doing your own setups, it doesn't necessarily need to take a lot of time. Because if you are interested in doing a bullet journal type of planner system, I'd actually recommend going really simple right at first, just seeing, do I even like this? Does my brain enjoy this process? Or do I need something more structured where I know that I can flip to 2 months from now or 3 months from now or 5 months from now? Because I think one of the biggest downfalls with a bullet journal is that you aren't typically setting up an entire year all at once, because you do want to allow a little bit room for movement and for, adding things as you want to, because again, in the typical bullet journal style, it is on a book-bound system. So you don't have the luxury of adding more pages if your month is busier than you originally anticipated. With the Happy Planner, I think that actually goes out the door. And so you can actually set up your entire year if you wanted to, or you can map out the important things on your future log, but it doesn't give you as much as that future planning, unless you create something like that, than a traditional planner would. And then you could also add in some habit trackers: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And you can make it as fancy or as simple as you wanted to. But again, the entire lack of structure is very freeing, but can also be very intimidating. So again, it really works with the way my brain likes to work, but it may not be your cup of tea. But I did want to show you what some of your options are. And if you wanted to do an entire day on one page, if you wanted to do a week here and a week here, again, this is completely customizable to what it is that you need. I would definitely recommend going on Pinterest and here on YouTube and just looking at bullet journal. Now, before you do that though, just know, just like the Happy Planner, you've got your gold star winners who they are doing artwork and it looks absolutely beautiful and you would never want to write in it because the artwork is so beautiful. Writer Carol says, really, it should be function over form. So if you can decorate and add all of the personal touches and the beauty and the whatnot, awesome. But really, this is about to help you plan, but also, and this is what these next pages are, it is about some self-reflection. It is about some tracking. So for instance, I see in a lot of bullet journals where they do a reader tracking, where they have a bookshelf that they've made, and it actually is easier than you'd think to do. And then they do stacks of books. And then on here, on the pages of the book, and then on the spines here, they would put the title of the book and the day that they finished their book. And then if they wanted to, they could even do a corresponding books and ratings so that they would know, okay, so of these books that I've read on the dates that I've read them, how would I rate that to either myself or, you know, if a friend asks me and I don't quite remember, I can always go back to my log here and I can see, well, what were my thoughts and why. And so as you can see, this comes together rather easily. And there's some more of that little decorative element. And then we can stack some books next to it. And just as easy as that, you have a really cute, really decorative tracker that is personalized to you. And you can do habit trackers where for the entire month, or you could actually set this up for the entire year, where you would track, you know, how are you sleeping, or you know, did you meal plan today, or did you do journaling, or did you take your vitamins? You can do mood trackers where you would set something up, and I just used again that really simple branch, and then based on whatever color coding I gave this, then I would color the leaves in for that day, and it would be very colorful, but it will also be very helpful for me to be able to refer back to this and say, all right, so how did this month go? And if I do this from month to month, then is there patterns? Do I get sad or happy around the same time? For me, my monthly visitor usually shows up around the 23rd through the 26th, and I've noticed about 10 days prior I just feel crummy. And sometimes I'm super emotional, sometimes I'm super sad, sometimes I nerd rage like nobody's business for no reason at all. So I've noticed patterns because I do have a tracker in my Happy Nietzsche, and I'll show you that in a little bit. And then one that I saw and I wanted to do here with you guys, Terry from Home with Feisty did this October spread layout, and I'm going to link her channel below. I would definitely recommend that. But And I have how this is going to work in my head, but we'll see if the execution comes out. What I thought this would be an interesting tracker to do is a places that you'd like to go. I don't know if you can see what this is going to eventually end up being, but I really did get the inspiration for this from Terry. And so we'd want to have our center post come down that way. It's okay that it doesn't line up. And then we would put that down there, and then add a little bit of grass, because why not? Do a little center post dot there. And then this can be all of the places that you'd like to go and the month or the year or the day that you went there. And depending on how big you write, you could do the city or the country, San Fran, and then you can add a little bit of journaling in that little space. Who was there with you? Where did you go? When did you go? How and why? I mean, you could add that all in there. You could write around. I mean, I think this would look really interesting if you do like to travel, because then you have not so much a place to put the things that you might have picked up, but just to see, yep, I went there and I went there and I went there and I went there. So I wanted to do that because I saw her doing that last night, and I just thought that was super cute. All right, so this shows you how you could set up a happy bullet journal. Let me show you mine so that I can show you how I'm tracking certain things. All right, and as I've mentioned, this is an entire DIY project. I make the covers, I made the half sheets because I can't source them here. This is cut from a big Happy Notes. I have the discs. This is the divider from that Happy Notes. These were some dividers from some other planners that I had that I covered with some coloring paper. Again, completely customizable. In this first section, I do have it where it is a regular planner section. So I track things on a weekly basis of things I'd either need to get done, will get done, or things like that. So this is similar to your traditional planner where month followed by a weekly layout where I can track weekly tasks. And so I typically keep 2 months at a time in here before migrating it out to a separate holding thing, because I do want to keep it at least for a little while. So this is October, and I have already set that up. And then this is my first week of October that I'm ready to go into, and that's how I do my regular planner section. However, I also have a social media and business section, and so this is where I keep a future log, and this is another way that you can make a future log in your Happy Planner. And actually we'll be setting up either 1 or 2 more of these, because this one has just ended or will be just ending, and so I need to map that out. Now, the reason I don't have this in my regular planner section is this future log is specifically geared towards things that I want to do in my Etsy shop, because I am trying to get things ready for the holiday season. If I thought I needed this in my regular Happy Planner section, I certainly could do that. But for me, I don't need it, and so I don't need to do it. And I think that's really the most important thing to remember is you can get all of these ideas of things to do, but if it isn't really functional, then it's just a lot of time wasted for nothing. I see value in this, so I don't mind doing the spread. And then in my social media and business section, I track the different tasks that I do. I actually never even got back to this one. I don't track it on a daily or weekly, but I do one every week because those are all the tasks that I want to do for the various things in my social media and business. And so I think this is very bullet journal friendly because, again, I'm not tracking anything. Okay, Monday I need to do this, or Tuesday I need to do this. I am tracking it based on functional tasks. Now, in my social media and business section, that's the only place that I actually really like to use a monthly calendar, because I sort of map out what I'm going to be doing on my YouTube channel or on my blog here, so that I can see, all right, this is what I need to do. And then from there, I will actually list it out into a log style, because this tells me when I want to have things up and running. This tells me, all right, these are all the things you need to do this month. So this seems a little bit intimidating when I was putting it together, but then I take this and then I break that down into actually weekly projects, and so it doesn't seem that bad. And so I just really use this as a landing place for all of the various running parts that I do. Now, the reason why I don't think an index is necessary is because you have the ability to make tabs. You have the ability to tab things out there, but you also have the ability to make different sections. So for instance, for my social media and business, I have specific trackers for that. So in this section here, I'm tracking Instagram, YouTube. This one ran out, so I'm tracking it here. I track, well, I have it set up for the Etsy and blog. Never actually got back to doing that. I'm tracking the 52-day challenge that Shary and a bunch of us did. I need to go back and do challenges that I've done for the year. I need to look at the giveaways that I've done for the year, and I just find this super useful. But maybe you're not doing a whole bunch of social media and business. I also have a period tracker. And I really think this is super cute. And I basically track Shark Week. So I kind of know when it's going to start. And then that also tells me, all right, if 10 days prior I'm feeling some kind of way, usually I know, all right, well, Shark's going to come and we're going to have a nice little visit. But I also, this past month, because I really wasn't feeling well, I'm also going to be tracking sick days. And this isn't necessarily days that I take off of work, but it could be just days I'm feeling crummy. And I'm going to be tracking that. And this is actually the wellness, from the wellness sticker book. And I think that'll just be really useful, because these things I don't migrate out. These things are going to stay in the planner, and only the monthly things and the weekly things move out of here. So if next year I want to map things out, or if next year I want to look at patterns, I can certainly do that in this setup. Now, you're probably thinking, well, you know, that's all well and good, but I have my planners and I really like them, and there may or may not be space for that. Well, you would be surprised. So let me put this back to where this was, which I don't remember where this was. So let's put it here. If you have this new skinny classic, if you have the classic happy planner, the big, the mini, the whatever, all you would need to do really is, if you're looking at doing the trackers, if you're looking at doing the book log or the future log or any of those things, you can just take your paper that corresponds to your planner, or if you have one of the big ones and you have the little papers, then you can just add it in. But really, you'd want to make a section in your happy planner that isn't necessarily tied to a specific week, but you'd want to have its own section, maybe at the back, maybe in the beginning, maybe in the middle, however, where you can always refer back to it. Because I think the downside with a traditional planner is you're really focusing on today. You're really focusing on next this week. But if you are trying to track your sleep or how you're feeling or how you're doing, or if you're taking wellness time or anything like that, it's really hard to do if you need to look at it on a weekly basis. And even if you're tracking on a weekly basis, that means if you want to look for patterns, you'd have to look every single week. But if you do something where you are tracking, this is going to go through December of 2020, I'm going to be able to have a really easy at-a-glance view of something that I think is important for me to know. And this isn't something that I've always tracked. And as I think of more trackers of things that I want to keep track of, this is the section that it's going to go in, because I know this isn't ever going to come out of my planner, because even when this gets to there, I'll probably just add one either to the back or to the front of it, because I do want to see longevity, and I do want to see where things are heading, and maybe then I can figure out why. Because if I know around the 10th through the 12th I'm not going to be feeling well, maybe I'll add some vitamins. Maybe I'll actually get a little bit more rest. I don't know. But until I can have sort of known patterns of this is what's happening and why, then, you know, I'm still just trying to figure things out. This is a really talky video, and I'm sorry if you're still here. I'm sorry. I'm hoping this is useful. This, other than my bullet journal, or this other than my budget planner, is the only planner that I use. I've seen some of the new ones and they're cute, but I won't go back to a traditional planner. I won't even go to the actual Skinny Classic that Happy Planner has put out. I don't want to be tied to a specific planner style every single week. I want to be able to do what I want, where I want, and when I want. And I think that is ultimately the best thing to do, or the best I want to say marketing, but that's not what I want to say. It's the best selling point of a Happy bullet journal. And again, whether you're in the half sheet, in the classic, the big, because I take this with me, the half sheet is the best. I used to use a mini. That works just as well. I think this is a little bit better for me, but really it's just whatever system you want to do. I do want to thank Shary for doing this collaboration with me. I had a lot of fun. I hope we do a collaboration again, and maybe we'll revisit this towards the end of the year, and we'll just do new spreads and give some more thoughts and things on what we think about the different planner styles. I do want to let you guys know. Yep, I wanted to talk about that. Now, I did finally scan and put this up on my blog. This is the templates for the big sized Happy Planner, and like I've shown you in the past, the monthly overview also works for the vertical and the academic layout, and then this dashboard layout also works for the horizontal and the monthly to-do. I will link both the classic sized as well as the big sized templates blog post links in the description box below. If you guys have any questions, definitely let me know. Would you do a Happy bullet journal? Have you done a bullet journal in the past? And what are your thoughts on the process? All right, guys, that's it for me for now. And as always, Allah.